Hey nerds, welcome back to the Fandom Underground, or welcome to the Fandom Underground if this is your first time. Um, I am Crystalline of Crystalline Creates, and today is Mass Effect Monday. It's our first one. So what I like to do on Mass Effect Monday is talk about the pieces that I've created in my jewelry that were based on Mass Effect, and one, why the colors were chosen, and two, like which beads I chose to be those colors, and how I think they relate to the character. So we are going to start our first ever Mass Effect Monday with the commander themselves, Shepard. Now, I obviously always played female Shep, but I feel like these colors and the attributes can relate to male Shep as well. They do the same things, they have the same goals, they are the same person, just voiced differently. The other thing is I played Paragon. Straight Paragon. Obviously, there are a few Renegade triggers that I took. But I still believe that these things can relate to either way. So, if you couldn't tell, this is the pattern. So, we've got black jade, howlite, and a red bamboo coral. And it's in the pattern of the ever-present and ever-famous N7 stripe. Because obviously that is one big thing that defines Shepard. When it comes to stones, obviously not everybody has the same beliefs, and I'm 100% aware of that. Maybe you just like the way it looks and the fact that it's the N7 stripe. That's cool. But if you're witchy like me, stones hold energy, and stones can influence things. And of course, each stone is going to give you what you put into it. So while these are like overall kind of things that the stone can help with, really you can do almost anything with a stone. It just depends on your intentions. So again, if you don't feel that way, that's fine. You don't have to. It's just for funsies. So we're going to start with the black jade. Now, like most, if not all, black stones, black jade is a protection stone. It's also a grounding stone. It kind of keeps you centered. Which, when it comes to all the stuff that Shepard goes through from 1 to 3, being grounded and being centered is really important, dealing with all of it. It's also a stone of good luck, which I don't want to minimize anything that Shepard does, but there is an element of luck in almost anything that you do. And I believe that that's really shown in Thessia, in Mass Effect 3. Because you can do everything right and still have the same outcome. There is no other outcome. It's going to happen. So I think the idea of luck and being in the right place at the right time, or even being at the right place, doing the right things, can still give you the poor result. But the black jade promotes good luck. Because the vast majority of what Shepard does go well. It's also a stone of friendship. Which, if you play a Paragon Shepard, it's inevitable. Your crew becomes your family. They become your friends. Even, you have your love interest, goes from being a friend to being a love interest. There's all that building in that. It's also a stone of self-confidence and self-reliance. And there are a lot of times that Shepard really can only count on themselves, themselves and their crew. Especially like in 1, nobody's there to support what you're saying. Even Udina hangs you out to dry. So it's a stone that promotes all of that. And on top of that, like I said, it's a protection stone, and that is the overall goal of Shepard, is to protect the galaxy at large, and then their love interests, their friends, their crew in a small world. Now, howlite is a stone for how they phrase it is tempering the storm. So the mass amount of insanity that can be around us at times, depending on what we're going through in life, howlite is a stone that helps you weather all of those issues. And that can be for everything that Shepard deals with, and from chasing Saren and dealing with the Geth, all the way over to Mass Effect 3 and dealing with the actual Reaper invasion. It's a massive storm. Coming back from the dead? Like, that is a lot to deal with, and that's what Howlite is for helping you temper and weather all of this crazy shit that happens. It also promotes patience and perspective. So when you're dealing with things like trying to negotiate getting the Krogan and dealing with that whole issue, these wounds in the galaxy that have been there since before we were born, before Shepard was born, before all of that, these wounds that have been there, there's an element of patience and perspective that you need to have, that Shepard needs to have, to be able to weather those things. Because you could take the easy way out and do what the Dalatras asks, but that's betraying everything that Paragon Shepard works for and works towards. It also facilitates clear communication. I feel like I don't need to say a whole lot on that point, considering the kind of communication you have with not just the galaxy at large and these people that are in power, but your own relationships between you and your crew and your love interest and all of that. That all requires very clear communication and relationship building. It's a stone that supports your ambitions and achieving your ambitions. And as a Paragon Shepard, my biggest ambition was always to bring peace and protect the galaxy and get rid of the Reapers. And you do that. You work. Shepard does not stop. Ever. There are moments, I believe, where they feel like they want to, but they persevere. And that's what Howlite helps you do. And lastly, we have our red bamboo coral. It's another stone of peace and transformations, which again I feel is encompassed of 3. It's also a stone of creative solutions and balancing your opinions on things. I feel like a good example of that is if you have the Paragon points between the fight between Miranda and Jack in 2. Because if you don't have enough, if you don't have enough points, you can't get both of them. You'll lose one or the other. So having both, I feel like, it's a creative solution. Like, Shepard just tells them how it is. And because you've built these relationships on clear communication and protecting things and valuing wisdom and valuing their opinions, you're able to facilitate and close that argument enough to where they agree to work together, not just with you, but with each other. And it's 2 powerful biotics. Like, how do you not want that? That was one of my favorite points in 2, is trying to work that out because it's so tense. I do everything possible to make sure that I have those Paragon points before I even do that, do Jack's loyalty mission to trigger that argument, because I don't want to not have enough. Because having both of them, to me, is very essential. Because they're both, again, they're amazingly powerful biotics. And if you don't have them both, you're leaving a massive asset out to dry. And it can result in one of their deaths if you don't do the final mission right. So that is my quick breakdown of all of our gems and my thoughts on working as the Paragon Shepard. And to be honest, a lot of this can relate to a Renegade Shepard. They're still the same goals in mind. Renegade Shepard just does it with more of an edge. And a humanity first ideal. It's not necessarily wrong, but it still takes all of this. All of these things that these stones do, it still takes all of that to even run as a renegade. You're still communicating and you're still clear on those communications. You're still coming up with creative solutions. You're still protecting the things that are important to you. Just Renegade Shepard's a little more Renegade Shepard. So tell me your favorite moments of Shepard, whether Renegade, Paragon, whichever, in the comments. Whether you like any of these stones, and if you're kind of on the same wavelength as me. And we'll come back next week with another Mass Effect Monday, but today we are done, and I will see you all next time.